Guys, wacheni niwapigie story. Let me tell you a little story. Nairobi. Oh. So, last month I matched with this guy on Bumble, yeah? So he's a nice guy, everything, we're vibing, whatever. So what I normally do, if I want to know if like a guy's married or like, like has a girlfriend or something, usually when we're chatting at night, I would just out of the blue just tell you, let's do a video call. Because I mean, if you're living by yourself, why would you not want a video call at 10 p.m. if you're already chatting, So this guy, hey, Aki Kenyan men. So this guy, listen to his excuse. He says he cannot have the video call because his room is too dark. I'm like, if it's too dark, just turn on the lights. Then he goes, he can't turn on even if he turns on the lights, his camera is not too good, so it would be unfair for him to see me and me not seeing him. I'm like, okay. And then after that, I just stopped talking to him. So the following day, he's like, oh, I realized you stopped talking to me, blah, blah, blah. What's going on? So I told him, for me, I'm really not interested with a guy who's like married. I'm not interested in married guys. He's like, no, I'm not a married guy. What makes you think I'm married? I'm like, yeah, because you refused to have, you said you can't have a video call and give me that that lame ass excuse. Then he's like, okay, you know what? Today we're going to have a video call. Is that fine? I'm like, okay, sure. So at night, he calls me. We do have the video call, but he's doing it in his car. Oh, why in your car? Like, it doesn't make sense. But anyways, so we have like I said, we have like very nice conversations, blah, blah, blah. But that thing just it was just in my head, like, why would he have the conversation in the car, the video call? So anyways, later on, this thing is really like disturbing me. So I tell him, there's something missing about you. I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't know why, but I feel like you're hiding something from me. Then he says, I'm not hiding anything. I'm not married. I don't know what you want me to tell you, but I'm not hiding anything. So I'm like, okay, who do you live with? Then he says he lives with his family. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't have an issue if someone lives with their family. But then I figured maybe that's definitely why he could not do the video call the first time, and then the second time we had to do it in the car. Oh, and then the other thing about him that I knew from the beginning, he's a mechanic. He fixes cars. For me, as Ebby, well, I guess in my 20s, I used to care a lot about what people do or what's their job, what they do for a living. But right now, honestly, I don't care. I don't care what you do for a living, as long as whatever you're making is an honest living. Like, they're not proceeds of corruption. You're not doing some illegal business, selling drugs and shit like that. As long as that is not the case, then I don't really care what you do for a living. So I remember I told 3 of my friends, I wouldn't mention their names, but they know themselves. So I told them what this guy does for a living, and they're like, mechanic, umeamua sasa ni mechanic. And I'm like, I don't care what they do for a living, as long as because I don't want someone that's doing like some corruption thing, or like someone who's like maybe like doing like some fraud or something like that. Because like, what if one day we're just chilling in his house and then the FBI comes in and then I'm part of it? Or people are like, that's Mercedes that Ebby's driving, that was drug money. I don't want to be part of that. Also, I don't need someone with a lot of money. Like, have whatever money that you have. I don't care if it's too much or too little, as long as you're not borrowing mine. As long as you have your money, I have my own money, we come together, that is fine. But the thing of me taking from you or you taking from me, I'm not into that. So anyways, we continue talking, and then something that was really disturbing me about him, he kept talking about money every time. Like, he would find a way to bring up a conversation about money. Like I'd be like, oh, so what did you do today? Like, what are you up to? And it's like, oh, I'm just trying to go to work and see if I can get a client. I'm really trying to hustle. I'm really trying to make some money. Then the next time we talk, is like, business has been down because of COVID, blah, blah. I'm really broke. I really don't get any cash. Sorry. And I'm like, well, it's the same for me. I'm also in business. I was also affected. But why do you keep talking about cash all the time. Then this happened during the time when I was at the coast. I was still looking for an apartment, and he was like, so what price range are you looking at? Because, oh, what I forgot to mention is he lived in Coast for a while. He's actually a Muslim. I've never been with a Muslim guy before, so I kept calling him halal. I kept telling my friend, oh, I'm talking to halal, you know, because for the first time a haram is having a halal. Anyways, that's not the point. The point here is he kept asking me like, what's my price range? So I told him the price range that I'm looking at. And now that I look back at our conversations, I keep thinking he was trying to gauge like maybe like how much money I have or how much money I make, because he kept asking like, and how's business? How much do you sell your products for? You know, and it was, now that I look back, I'm like, he was trying to investigate, you know, like he was trying to investigate me. So anyways, so we keep chatting and everything. And then finally, to just cut this long story short, finally, I invite him over this Friday, this weekend, because we've been chatting for a while. So I was like, it's time. Also, I have to be honest, Aliko Malisafi, whoo! That guy was hot. He was a very good looking guy. I was like, this one, hey, I must. This one, I must. I pity Ivo. You're Mali, I end Ivo. So anyways, so I invite him over, and then he says he'll come after work at around 6. So I'd not sent him my location yet, because usually I send a location when you're like, okay, you're actually coming. That's when I send you. So before I did that, I was like, so what time are you coming? Then he's like, oh, I'll come at around 6:30, but I'm still trying to hustle for fuel money. Oh, wait 1 second, before I get to that fuel money, there's this other part that I had really forgotten. Like I told you guys, this guy kept talking about money the whole time. So last week, Wednesday when I was at my mom's house, he didn't talk to me the whole day. Then in the evening he sends me a message, and then he says, how are you today, blah blah. I'm like, I'm cool. Then he says, oh, he's in Isinya. He said he's in Isinya, but then he's under a lot of stress and pressure. And from the moment he said that, I already knew where this conversation was going, but I was like, let me bite, let me just bite and see where the story is going. I'm like, what's the stress? What's the pressure? Then he says, he had invested some money. That's how the conversation started. The moment he said he had invested some money, I was like, oh, I already know where this conversation is going. And how do I know? How do I know where this conversation is going? Because I co-authored that book with Jezebel herself. I already know how you're going to say it so that you get money out of me. I already know. Jezebel and I wrote that book. Please, come on. I'm not falling for that. So anyways, so he's like, I invested some money and he had bought some goods, and those goods are now at the border, and he doesn't have money to release them from the border. I just look at that message. I'm just like, I just blue ticked and went to bed. Like, I just, like, what do you say at that point? Because the next question would be, oh, how much is it? And then he tells you a figure, and then the next conversation would be, oh, say he says he needs 20,000, for example. Then he says, it's only the 20K, but I promise I'll return that 20K by blah, blah, blah. And we all know how that conversation goes. We all know it because we read the book. So anyways, I decide this is bullshit. Let me go to bed. Then the following day, he's the one who looks for me. And then he's like, so we start organizing for the meetup, right? So I didn't even mention about that. We didn't even talk about that Isinya story again. So an hour before, he messages me, and then he's like, oh, I'm coming at 6:30, but I'm still trying to hustle for fuel money. Then his exact words were, I'm as broke as a church mouse. I'm like this was the final straw, because you see, all these other times he'd never really asked me for money. And even when I was talking to my friends, they're like, yeah, you have to give him the benefit of that, because he hasn't actually asked you for money. But then I'm like, but then I already know where this conversation is going to, so he doesn't really have to ask me. I already know what he wants. So he So he sends me that message. He's like, he's hustling for fuel money. So at this point, I've just had it. So I tell him, you know what? We don't have to meet. You like, there's no pressure. You don't have to come. We don't have to meet. Then after a minute, I'm really burning. I'm really burning inside. So I message him again. I'm like, and FYI, I am not into broke guys. I was like, I'm not into broke guys. You keep talking about money. Every conversation we have is about money. So I'm really not sure what your intentions are. Then the guy has the audacity to reply and tell me, guess what he says? Guess what he says? Guess. He says, Ati, oh, I understand. But then again, if you can't love me, he said, if you can't love me during my worst times, you do not, you shouldn't have me during my good times. And I'm like, Ati, love. First of all, even without that love thing, what makes you so entitled to think that I've never even met you and you want me? Basically, what you're saying is, nafa kutumia fare. I should send you fare. That's what you're saying. Because if you're asking for fuel money, it's basically fare that you're asking for. Me, Ebi, Grace, Weime, Nechesa. I send you fare. Me. Hey! I would rather die of a dry spell. I would literally die and be cremated before I actually send you fare. So anyways, after that, he goes, oh, don't take this the wrong way. I wish you well, blah, 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 blah. He's talking as if you're breaking up. Nigga, we ain't breaking up. We've never even met. How are you breaking up? So anyways, he sends me that and all I say is, bye. Bye. That is all I can say. Like, just what kind of men are we raising? Surely, for me, as Ebi, I don't want to speak on behalf of other people, but for me, and I've said it, and I've said this before, I have never asked for fare from anyone. Never, not once. If I want to come see you, I will Uber, I will drive, I will walk, I will take a matatu, I'll take a bus, I'll do anything to come and see you. But I will never be like, oh, send me 300 for transport. For what? For what? Kama mimi mwenyewe sijawahi yomba pesa. I've never borrowed money. I've never borrowed or asked for fare myself. Who are you? You've never even met me. Who are you to ask me to send you fare? So I was telling Gloria this story, and Gloria's like, "Aye, these guys. Kwani, he didn't even wait for you to be digmatized. Like, at least digmatize the woman first, and then maybe she'll be crazy enough to be giving you money." But anyways, I have said this before, and I will say it again. For me, as Ebi, I don't mind supporting a man. Yes, I know. Like I said, I don't mind supporting a man, but not now. When I'm a millionaire, when I'm a trillionaire, like when I have so much cash that me paying for 3 different men, paying for their rent is not an issue. Like your rent is 30K, shika. Your rent is what, 100K, I'll pay for a year. I know for sure I'm going to be that kind of chick. When I have the money, not now when I'm broke, when I have the money. So yeah, like I said, I don't see anything wrong with supporting a man as long as you're not swindling, like you're not stealing from this person, like you're not saying that it's a loan when you know very well it's not a loan that you want. You just want free money. When I get so much cash, yeah, I don't mind spoiling a guy. I don't mind doing it. But don't put me in a position where you're saying, oh, I can't come to your house because I don't have fuel money. So basically what you're saying, you're being passive aggressive and saying, send me fare. Baba, never, ever. So anyways, that was my weekend. I figured I'll just come here and just rant. And I don't know if you've experienced the same, like if you've experienced a guy who's asking you for money either directly or indirectly. For me, I'd heard of these stories, but they never really happened to me. I was actually, I'd commented on a post on Facebook, and I was like, you know what? I think I've already given Kenyans enough chances. Like, I don't want to put like a blanket thing, like all Kenyans are like that, Kenyan men, because the ones that have experienced, this is the extreme one, the one that has asked for money. The rest is just, I don't know, it's just not working, man. It's just not working. And I was telling Gloria, I'm going back to my Caucasians, man. Like, Kenyans, not all Kenyans again, because the only Kenyans that I've dated are in their 20s. I've really not dated anyone my age or older. And the weird thing is, when it comes to Caucasians, I prefer older and not younger. And when it comes to Kenyans or Africans, I prefer younger and not older. I don't know this weird thing with me. But but we'll see how it goes this year. But yenye nimesema Kenyan men, ho